damn, why is Hunter x Hunter so amazing? Like, the following episode from an explosive one, and then we have this race for time craziness between the villains as like, Hunter x Hunter for the motherfucking win, baby, yeah! So I feel this episode, one thing that it really represents, in my opinion, is the strong connection that the king had towards Komugi. I think that Meruem's strong connection to her is why, even right now having this strong amnesia, he just keeps on, like, even the smallest things is really making him like, God damn, you know, what is it? I remember something, and it's something so strong that he can't get it off his mind. Like, if you notice, he's kind of downplaying it in front of Youpi and Poop. He's kind of like, yeah, I know you guys are holding a secret, whatnot, and I'll let you hold your secret. But once they left, he's there like, contest. You know, he really wants to remember this because it's something that he probably feels is very important to him. So I really like the way this episode represented that even in amnesia, even forgetting pretty much everything and slowly remembering things again, he just can't get this off his mind and he wants to know what it is. So I really appreciated that, and that just shows the bond that was created between those two. And it kind of makes you go back and look at those episodes, and it's like, maybe some people didn't care for those episodes. I personally love the hell out of those Gungi episodes. I'm not gonna lie, those were entertaining as fuck. But if you look back, like, all those episodes of them playing Gungi added up to this. If you didn't have those episodes, you wouldn't have these parts right here where he's just going crazy thinking, and that's where the bond was formed. So definitely really makes you appreciate prior material, and overall it just became like some crazy dash for time. Poor Knuckle and Malarion, like, oh my god, the king just coming in, and I'm like, yes, this is on the outskirts after a fucking major battle, and he just comes in, chop, chop, y'all done, let's go, y'all coming with me. And that just goes to show the immense difference at this point between the king's power and anyone else. Like, after this fight with Netero and, you know, him getting the power up from Youpi and Pouf and whatnot, he is on a whole different level, in my opinion. Like, he is just like, not even in my opinion, it is clear as fucking day. Like, what he just did and the vicinity of his end, how far it can reach to the point where all he has to do is feel you and he can appear right next to you. So the speed increase, the distance his end can travel. It is just like, oh my god, he has gotten such a huge power up. And I was liking how, even Ikalgo, like, I don't know what happened. Like, this last week, the craziness of the Hunter x Hunter madness last week. Even seeing Ikalgo in this episode, and I was never a fan of Ikalgo, but just even seeing him in this episode and me feeling like, I was getting anxious seeing Palm running. She's like, he could appear in back of me at any moment. And I think a lot of the things that happened last week just really overall, not only as far as the story goes and everything, progressed everything, but I think it's just like, for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people as well, made the Hunter x Hunter fandom solid and solidified as something that you're going to love for a long time to come. Like, because after that episode, even when the anime ends and whatnot, obviously I'm going to keep going with the manga, whatever, it just really cemented, like, Hunter x Hunter as something amazing, to the point where I'm looking at Ikalgo and, you know, him and Palm in the car, and I'm like, fuck yeah, man, they gotta go. Of course, they're on the heels of, like, you know, some monster coming after them, but it was just like, even that felt entertaining, and that's something that last week's episode really had a huge impact in the Hunter x Hunter fandom. We get to see a little glimpse of Gon after what happened last week, and, you know, him going into that adult form and pounding the shit out of Pitou, and you just see Pitou, her body is just there and her head is gone. He completely smashed her in, but getting to see a little bit of Gon, he seems like he's reverted back to his younger form, but his hair is really long. So I'm guessing, first of all, he gets to keep the cool looking hair, but also he's completely unconscious. You see that Kitawa is dragging him along, so it took a toll on him. And ultimately, we're going to get to see some of the repercussions of what he took last week. And let's just say that as of right now, it's not looking too good. I mean, dude is unconscious, and he's having to be dragged away by Kitawa after he pounded Pitou into the ground. The mind games right now from Pouf feels like it's on some Death Note shit, because he was trying desperately, and he didn't realize emotionally that the king pretty much was sensing what he was doing, the deception of him and Youpi, and he's just trying to play these mind games, and it really felt like it was strategic, and he's just trying desperately to get what he ultimately wants, and that's that he wants him to forget Komugi. So he's trying desperately, and it feels very, like, strategic, but at the end of the day, he, you know, got busted out that he's trying to do something, so he comes up with this game, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, how far will Pouf go to get what he wants? I was kind of a little bit taken back by Youpi going along with Pouf. I think had Pouf not been there, Youpi might have not gone that way. I think that Youpi, he had changed quite a bit. Like, between the three ants, I feel as though, or three royal guards, shall I say, I feel as though the one that never really changed was Pouf. Pouf just, if anything, got darker or whatever. I felt like Youpi advanced quite a bit. You know, the whole stuff with Knuckle and how he let him live or whatever. And I feel as though Pitou advanced quite a bit as well. You know, just wanting to protect Komugi for the king. But when it comes to Pouf, I just really feel like he's the one that roped Youpi into this. Youpi, in the end of the day, agreed and said, yeah, it's probably best for the king to stay like this. But I think had he not had that influence from Pouf, he might have thought differently. Maybe he wouldn't have done, you know, helped out in hiding Komugi and trying to erase her from the king's mind for good. The crazy thing I was thinking as well is, with Pouf trying to hide all this, what about if after, let's just say, he ends up killing Komugi, you know, he finally kills or whatever, what if the king remembers and finally figures out what happened to her and he just slaughters him, and, you know, the king is still changed because he remembers, like, you getting rid of her, like, it really made me think, getting rid of her isn't really the answer, because at the end of the day, he will remember. Something will trigger him. Like, you think he's not going to hear of a chess game or something, and it's not going to make him click, like, yeah, and it'll come back to him. It'll come back to him at some given point, and all of that is going to return to him. The person he was is not just the girl. I think he mistakes what the girl represents. The girl represents not only his connection with her, but the change in him as well. And just because you get rid of her now, that's not going to get rid of it completely from his mind. All it takes is for him to see like a little Gungi piece, or, you know, something along the lines of that, something simple, and he'll remember. So I think Pouf is greatly misunderstanding the situation that is at hand. And ultimately, on the heels of a phenomenal 20 million out of 10 episode, this was a very good episode. It did a lot of different things. First of all, it advanced, it had progression. Knuckle and Meruem are pretty much captured. They're, you know, they got knocked the hell out with like one quick, swift chop. You got Palm and Ikalgo on the run. You have a lot of good progression, as well as this setup for this game where it's a clip for time right now. It's a very tough one, and I felt just anxious watching it. So definitely I'm going to give this bad boy an 8 out of 10. On the fucking heels of an incredible one, we're still getting very good stuff with Hunter x Hunter. And it was just like, oh, fucking loving Hunter x Hunter right now. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Pouf is underestimating the situation at hand, and that even if, let's just say, he got rid of Komugi now, and the king didn't remember it for like 2 to 3 months to come, do you think that that would change anything? Do you think that after he does remember it, he would revert back to who he was prior to the explosion? What do you think about the bond between Meruem and Komugi? Do you feel as though it's strong enough that even if he doesn't get a hint, he could remember? Just your overall thoughts of the episode is like, Hunter x Hunter just gets me so fucking anxious. Gotta love Hunter x Hunter. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.